Morning, everybody. Saturday morning here. Yesterday was a complete washout. Couldn't get anything done. It rained just about all day. My tarps held up fairly well. I got to do a little bit of maintenance on one of the poles. No big deal. Got the fire going, and it is cold. It is in the upper 20s right now, and the wind is blowing a little bit. So I had to break out the vest here this morning, and it's helping. So we got a couple things. First, like I said, I got to fix one of the poles. I got to kind of reinforce it a little bit. And then I've got a little upgrade here for the mill. I get a lot of flack for pulling these logs up onto my log rack. And, you know, it's fine. People are concerned. I understand. And it's just one of those things I'd like to do. But I got something done that's going to make it a lot easier. And it was a part of the original plan. And we're going to knock that out today as well, too. Might even get into some milling this afternoon. We're going to see how it goes. All right. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, okay? Really helps us out. We're new to this and we're trying to grow. And we'd love to get more folks subscribed. And so it's really going to help this channel out in the long run, which in turn is going to provide you with some entertainment along the way. All right, guys, thanks. Here we go. First thing on the list this morning here is to fix this pole. Now, this is the back corner. Here's my wood piles over here. So this is the back corner. If you remember back when I initially put this in, the hole was dug in, it was already disturbed earth because they ran the cable, the power line from my pole here that's just to my left and down to the cabin area. So, you know, it wasn't a great place to put it. I'm aware of that. And, well, now I just gonna have to lash it off. I've got some cord. I'm gonna run some cordage from the upper corner up there just down. I have a stump over here. I'm just gonna tie it off and just provide it with some support. All right, well, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get up on the ladder. I'll disconnect this side of the tarp here. I want to cut a notch in the post up kind of towards the top. So this is just 550 cord, so it doesn't slip once it gets tied in there. So. Okay guys, quick and easy. Here's what happened. Got the tarp back attached to it. Had my notch cut in up there. For those interested, I put a bowline up there at the top of that just to make a loop. And then brought that down here. I drove a pipe in the ground right there, that small white thing there. And then trucker's hitch right here so I can add more force to it or let, give it some slack, things like that. So, yeah, I could have done a lot of different type of friction hitches, but that trucker's hitch is easy and I'm familiar with it. So that's how it ended up. All right, guys, tarp is looking good. It held up good yesterday through the rain. I didn't have any problems. This stuff here towards the outside, of course, we did have some wind. So this stuff got a little wet. But, I mean, just not much. So, I'm everything so far as this stuff staying dry has been working pretty well. So, all right, on to the next thing. All right, gang, we're back here on the sawdust side of the mill. And this all leads into my little upgrade I finally got done. So as part of the original design that I had here, because I kind of knew how I wanted to get these logs up here, this is I think it's a 2.5 inch square steel tube that I embedded in the concrete when we poured the slab. You can probably look back at the concrete video and kind of see how that was set up prior to them pouring the slab. And, well, since then it has held these concrete stakes that I use to attach my towing strap to. So there's a loop here and then that goes out, comes up over the log, and then I pull it. Well, I finally got the piece for this welded, and I'll show that to you in just a minute. But first, because this is on the sawdust side of it, it is, I wouldn't say filled with sawdust. I don't know if we can get in there and see that, but it's got some sawdust in there I need to get out. So prior to us moving on, we got to clean it up. All right, guys, here's what we're working with. That tube that's in the concrete, that's 2.5 inches. This is a 2-inch square, 1/4-inch steel square tube. Okay, so what I had to have done was I had to have this metal plate welded to the top of this tube, and that's what I had done recently, yesterday as a matter of fact. And so I'm going to bolt the winch on top of this, and that's how I'm going to get the logs up onto the log rack here in the future. So yeah, this just simply slips inside that post, and yeah, let's see, just like this. Just like that, hand crank, the winch will mount right there. Let's do it. All right, first thing we want to do, we got to center this. We're just going to eyeball this here as far as getting it on here. Now, like the other one that I mounted on the log arch, I'm going to have to actually cut some of this off. This is 8-inch square, and the way this handle sits on here, it was actually hitting here, so I had to cut off like a 1/2 inch. So I assume I'm going to have to do the same thing here. I'd rather do that than put this winch off center and off center from the support below it, which I feel is the priority of maintaining its structural integrity. So I got to mark the holes, and then we're going to drill some holes. Now, because the weld on the other side kind of shows through a little bit, it's easy for me to kind of see. So I'm going to actually slide this up a little bit, and then this longer one in the back here, that's really gives me some good leeway as far as where I'm going to put the hole. So I'm probably going to put it right in here if I can feel it. Yeah, plenty of space back here towards the back. And then I'll probably slide this one up just a hair. The weld is actually right here, but I need to leave room for the bolt underneath it. So maybe just a fraction forward. how I drill holes like this through steel. This is 3/16 plate steel, so I usually just take little bites out of it. I don't do my largest hole first. So that was like a 3/16 maybe, and now I got 3/8 bolts that are going to hold this in, so that's what I do now. All right, now that that's done, I got a little rusty metal primer I'm going to spray on this. So before I mount the winch, actually, we're going to paint this up. Okay, we got that spray painted up a little bit. Still a little wet, but that's fine. I'm not worried about it. Oh. All right. I tell you, what's fun is when it's 30 degrees out and you're working with metal tools. It's great on your fingers. And it's supposed to be 75 by the end of the week. So we got that going for us. Okay, now that those are bolted down, let's take a look and see how much I got to cut off for this handle. So this is a 2-speed winch. I've got a low gear and a high gear basically, and I'm predominantly going to be using the high gear, if you will, on this setup here. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at that. Let me show you. Okay. Yeah, see. So it is hitting right there. So I'm going to take off about a 1/2 inch or so. I'm going to grind this off, or cut it, I mean, with the grinder. Take about a 1/2 inch off, and that should give me plenty of clearance. Okay, I just got that cut off. That light behind that screen there not helping this out, but thank God the sun's coming around. So I've got, so I cut a little piece off, cut about a 1/2 inch off, and I'm going to mount the handle on now, and this thing should be ready to go. All right, handle's mounted. Works all the way around. Nothing left to do now but to go grab a log. Let's do it. was much easier to get that log up there on the log rack. A little less wear and tear on the body, but I do feel like I was cheating. But that's just me. So I did actually run out of cable over here, so I'm gonna have to shorten that. I'll probably take off the tree wrap strap that's under there, so that'll gain me 8 feet. And I have 32 feet of wire on that winch, so I have plenty to reach back here a little further. Gang, that one there took forever, and I was just trying a few things. So you saw me flipping the board quite a bit, a bunch of hemming and hawing with the tape measure and things like that, and I had to make a couple kind of like sacrificial cuts of very thin pieces. One probably 1/8 of an inch thick, and the other maybe about 1/4 of an inch thick, just to try and get what I was going to be cutting. So much like here, this used to be on top of this 4x4 here. I took a little off the top, dropped it 2 inches, and that made out perfect for a 2x4, an actual size 2x4, with leaving me with a 4x4 post right here. And everything turned out great. So I had multiple 1x10s. I had a couple 1x8s. I threw the boards. You saw me kind of throw some boards back up on the mill. I cut those down to size, maybe 1x8s, and then several 1x6s. And everything got stacked, and everything really worked out well. It just took a while. It really just took a while. Like I said, I'm new at this, and I'm doing the best I can, trying to maximize the volume that I'm getting out of my logs, and that worked fine. I think in the future, I mean, obviously right now I'm not really working off of a cut list, so I think once I'm working off a cut list, it'll make it somewhat easier, because I know what I'm gonna have to produce, if that makes sense. So right now it's just, I need sheathing on these cabins. I've got to basically wrap the cabins twice with 1x material, just by the way the design is and how it's got to be put together. So yeah, so we'll get these stacked up. Again, it's a 2x4 here on the left side here, and a 4x4 on the right, and everything worked out well. So on to the next one. Well guys, I'm down here by the log pile, and I'm just about to grab the last log of the day here, and I came down and kind of looked around, and I heard some people talking and, you know, about sealing these logs. You know, so I hemmed and hawed about it. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. So I took, you know, I took an hour, came down here, took almost a gallon to get everything done. So I sealed the ends of these logs down here. So just about every one you see, I might have missed one or two in there. But yeah, you know, just something that it's not going to hurt. I mean, who cares, right? But you can only help at this point. But primarily I was thinking about the temperature. It's going to be almost 80 degrees come next Friday. And, you know, the slower I can dry these out, the better they're going to be. So that's, you know, that's kind of my thought behind it. I had a gallon up sitting around, and so I figured why not. So I did it. So like I said, I'm just down here grabbing the last log of the day. We'll get it up there, clean it off, and get to work. All right, gang, I just finished up with that last log that I pulled up from down below. A lot of knots in that thing. For the first time, my blade, I was pushing a dull blade through there initially, and it was diving and got some wavy boards, and so I had to swap out the blade, and everything went fine after that. So yeah, lesson learned. I just got to pay more attention to you know, blade life and longevity and things like that. So a great day. Got the new, you see it there behind me, the new winch out and going. That worked well. In fact, I didn't film it, but I was helping Rebecca. Rebecca actually pulled that last log up the ramp with that winch, so it definitely is gonna, you know, make things easier. I'll probably still pull other logs up you know, by hand. That's just because I kind of enjoy that. But yeah, overall good day, and things are just going along smoothly. Should be another pretty good day tomorrow. Going to be colder than today though, so I don't know, might sleep in a little bit. Yeah, so anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.